It was a random Saturday in 2018. My parents were out at a concert and my sister was at work, and it was about 7:30 p.m. when I decided to head to my boyfriend's house. Now, before I left, I had this weird nagging feeling that I need to leave our living room light on, as well as the front porch light. So I left the lights on, and I got in my car and drove to my boyfriend's house. An hour later, I get a notification on my phone that the Ring camera that is positioned at our front porch went off. I immediately knew something was wrong because I knew no one was supposed to be home for a while. So I open up the app and don't see anything, and I'm waiting for the video to repopulate, and I see a guy in a black hoodie walking up to our porch, knocking on the door, then moving away from the porch into the dark. Now, the way our camera is positioned makes it very difficult to see his face, but my dad was adamant that the guy had a mask on. About 1 minute later, I get notified again, and it shows the guy walking up to the back door, knocking a bit louder, then moving away from the porch again. At this point, I knew it wasn't a prank, so I let off the siren through the app, hoping it would deter him. But when I didn't see him in the camera, I knew he had gone through the backyard, so I called the cops. With the way the dispatcher was talking to me, it almost made me seem like she thought it was a false alarm, but I was insistent that someone was trying to break in. She asked me to drive back to my house and once I get there to call them back. I feel like unless I called back, they had no intentions of sending a cop to check on things. My boyfriend and I drive up to my house and don't pull up in the driveway, but park across from my house and turn off my car lights. I had left my sister's window blinds open and kept looking at that window from my car as I knew it was my only way to see into the house. And I dialed the cops again. 30 seconds into the call, I noticed flashlights through the window and I tell the dispatcher. I initially thought it could have been a car driving by from the other side of my house, but that thought was shot down in 10 seconds when I saw the silhouette of a man looking through the window. The moment I saw the silhouette, I yelled on the phone, "Someone's in my house, please hurry." The dispatcher told us to drive away and park a bit away for safety while we wait for the cops to arrive. About a minute or two of us sitting in the car and checking behind us, my boyfriend yelled, "I see him walking ahead." And we see a guy in a black hoodie holding a bag walking fast down the street to our right and behind the shadows of the corner. I saw him, and I shined my high beams on him so he knew I saw him. And at that point, he started running towards the parked SUV that was in front of us the entire time. He got in the car and it immediately turned on and they started driving. At that point, the adrenaline kicked in for me, and I floored it trying to catch up to him while the dispatcher and my boyfriend are telling me to stop. About 10 seconds after, we park and the SUV is turning right. I see a cop pull up behind us, and I immediately roll down my window and gesture to the cop that the guy is driving up ahead of us, and he floored it to catch up to him. The cop came back and told me that he missed him, and he didn't see the direction the guy fled, but we drove back to my house and we were met by 5 more cop cars, a canine unit, and a helicopter hovering over the whole valley trying to search for him. Turns out the guy broke through my parents' window and focused his attention on their room, and stole thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, including my parents' wedding jewelry, as well as my grandparents' and aunt's jewelry. When he reached mine and my sister's room is when I pulled up to the house because he rummaged through a lot of our stuff, but absolutely nothing was stolen from our rooms. The cops believed that I bought myself time to get home by leaving the lights on because he took extra time to ensure no one was home, and that gave me time to pull up to my house and deter him before he stole more. They still haven't caught the guy, but a house down the street from ours was broken into an hour before ours was, and a house 10 minutes away from us was broken into a couple hours after. The cops believed that a guy tried to blend into our neighborhood for that extra hour so that he bought himself time for the cops to stop searching for him so he can move on. There were numerous reports of a suspicious parked SUV with its lights off in other surrounding neighborhoods just sitting there, which is why the cops believe it was him trying to blend in and buy time. So whoever you are, I hope you live in fear and you get caught. Last summer, I came home to visit my parents and siblings. I usually spend my summers working for my university's housing, so I was really eager to get away from all that and spend a few relaxing months at home. My parents' house is in a decent neighborhood. Never had there been an instance of burglary or home invasions. It was a pretty quiet suburbia. I would even venture to say boring on some accounts. Anyway, last summer, the air conditioning was broken at our house, and my dad was going to have a repairman come by and check it out at around 2 p.m., and he would leave work early to meet him. My mom and sisters were off to work in school, so I was at the house by myself. My room was upstairs. I took a nap and woke up to the sound of the door slamming at 1:30. I didn't think anything of it, because I thought it was my dad meeting the repairman a little early. I decided I'd go and join them to see what the damage was. I was eager to get the AC back because summers in Texas are awful. When I got to the second floor landing, I noticed something was off right away. It was dead silent. I heard my dad's gun cabinet open, the place where he kept his most prized guns. I thought it was strange, but my dad did love to chat and show off his things. I had absolutely no clue what was going on. And then my cell phone rang in the bathroom next to my room. It was my dad. He was calling me to tell me that the repairman was coming at 3 instead of 2. Now, I've read where people talk about getting cold all over when they're afraid, but at that exact moment, I felt like I was about to throw up. I was so scared because whoever was downstairs was not my dad, and it apparently was not the repairman. I locked myself in the bathroom and told him what was going on. He promptly told me to call the police. I did. The operator stayed on the line with me and said the officers that would arrive had a safe word they would tell me to assure it was actually them. I sat in the dark bathroom for what seemed like ages, my heart racing. Finally, there was a soft knock on the door. The man said it was the police and gave me the safe word, and I quickly ran out to meet them, almost hyperventilating. And in a flash, all of the police officers were training their guns on me. I held my hands up, freaking out, but they ushered me away from the door quickly. I didn't have time to ask questions, because the officers turned on the bathroom light. Standing in the bathtub was a man, dressed in all black, clutching a knife. He was staring right at me. He was there the entire time.